What if you could own a slice of SpaceX without waiting for the IPO? Without being a billionaire, without a private banker, without anyone telling you no? There is now an ETF that does exactly that, and it has already pulled in nearly $1 billion in less than a month. The fund is called the Tema Space Innovators ETF. It trades on the New York Stock Exchange under the ticker NASA. It launched on March 31st, 2026, from a smaller issuer called Tema ETFs, and it is the first pure-play space economy fund built around one thing most people thought was off-limits: direct exposure to SpaceX. In just a few weeks, the fund has crossed nearly $1 billion in assets, and it is up roughly 17.5% since launch. Both numbers landed during the Artemis II mission window, with rising chatter that SpaceX itself could finally go public. Suddenly, retail investors had a way in. So how does it actually work? NASA holds 20 to 40 space companies. Names like Rocket Lab, Iridium, AST SpaceMobile, L3 Harris, and Planet Labs. The fund concentrates on rockets, satellites, space communications, and the picks and shovels suppliers behind them. The unique piece is its SpaceX exposure, which it gets through a special purpose vehicle, an SPV, that holds actual SpaceX shares. Tema absorbs the legal and structural costs of that SPV inside the fund's expense ratio, so investors do not see hidden fees on top. But here is the catch: they do not put on the homepage. The SpaceX shares inside that SPV are private with charred. There is no daily market price for them. The fund has to mark them to a valuation that gets updated only every so often, based on private funding rounds and internal estimates. That means a chunk of your investment is sitting at a price that may already be stale, and that price can be revised, sharply, in either direction, on news that has nothing to do with the public market. Why does this catch exist? Because owning a private rocket company through a public ETF is genuinely new territory. The structure is innovative, but it inherits real private market risk: lockups, illiquidity, valuation gaps. You are getting access most retail investors have never had, and you are paying for it with structural complexity, not just the 0.75% expense ratio. Performance so far has been strong, up about 17.5% in roughly 4 weeks, beating the broader space ETF group, including the older Procure Space ETF, ticker UFO. But 4 weeks is a tiny window, and a lot of that gain came from SpaceX IPO speculation rather than real revenue out of these companies. So who is this fund for? It is for an investor who already understands satellites and launch are real long-term industries, who wants a piece of SpaceX before any potential public listing, and who can sit through real volatility without panicking when valuation marks move. It is not a core holding. It is a thematic, high-conviction sleeve. Honest caveat: the SpaceX exposure today is a small slice of the fund, not the whole thing. So you are buying a basket of public space stocks with a side of private SpaceX, not a SpaceX tracker. If this was useful, hit like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments. Would you actually buy a private company through an ETF or wait for the IPO? See you in the next video.